look at the results from our last Honda. They've been confirmed with no penalties applied, which is always good to see. Micros then, we'll just hear them firing up in the dummy grid area, which you can't quite see, but it's in under the gantry there. So Riley Buckton-Young will start on pole with James Tate alongside Alex Jones and Caden Simpson on row 2, Logan Lauder and Aston Brown on row 3. Harry Neeson and Heat 1 winner Daniel Minto start on row 4, James Roberts and Samuel Lowdy on row 5, Toby Dukes and Jack Hutchinson, your 12 Micro Max runners. So as you see the spectators up there on the balcony, below them is the dummy grid holding area, which is undercover, which could be handy later on if the promised rain does make an appearance in around about an hour's time. We'll keep an eye on that as well. Slicks as it is though on a nice dry track. Riley Buckton-Young, the pole sitter, he's going to lead them round. He sets the pace, although on the outside James Tate is all the way through. Looks like we are going racing though, as the outside train was much quicker than everybody else, and by the time I think there was 3 carts over the line before Riley Buckton-Young, the pole sitter, was even over start finish. So not sure whether that'll get looked at, but then there's a move there down with Lowdy getting down the inside of Buckton-Young into the bottom hairpin. 8 minutes once again plus 1 lap then for our Micro Max, and looks like Daniel Minto has made a fantastic start on the opening lap to move up into second place behind James Tate. He started on the 4th row in 8th place, but he's got a good start then. And, with 8th place, he would have been on the outside row that was really tramming along towards the at the start there. So Tate, Minto and Simpson, the top 3, with Brown, Lowdy, Neeson, Roberts. Alex Jones, Logan Lauder and Riley Buckton-Young now down in 10th place in front of Toby Dukes and Jack Hutchinson. Looks like Minto has found a way through then on James Tate at the back part of the track and has moved through then into the lead. In the background, Lowdy's going to try and get a good run, I think, down the inside of Aston Brown. Let's see who appears first. It is Samuel Lowdy for 4th place. Brown then will drop down into 5th with Neeson and Roberts coming through, although actually it's Roberts now in front of Neeson in 6th and 7th respectively. The train will go all the way down then from James Tate, all the way down almost to Logan Lauder in 9th place, trying to tag onto the back. It looks like Toby Dukes has managed to find a way past Riley Buckton-Young. We see Jack Hutchinson there making his way through the second chicane. So Simpson holding off Lowdy and Roberts. Managed to move away ever so slightly from Aston Brown. So Roberts down the inside of Lowdy, forces him wide into the double apex right. Looks like Roberts has actually dropped a place as well behind Alex Jones, who makes up 2 places on that previous lap, getting past Aston Brown and Harry Neeson as well. James Tate hasn't been able to shake off Caden Simpson. Simpson does get a good run out of that second chicane towards the hairpin, does run slightly wide though, carries a bit too much speed, and almost has Roberts down the inside. They're going to be 3 wide round there. They're going to have to sort themselves out as Roberts runs all the way round the outside of the long loop and past Caden Simpson. Simpson could lose 2 places here. Down the inside though, Alex Jones is going to take both of Samuel Lowdy and Caden Simpson as well. Lowdy's going to try and get back to the inside. Jones though might have track position. He's going to carry more speed round the outside over the curbs. A little bit of bumping from them as Aston Brown comes through and trims the grass as well on the way through on Caden Simpson. They're still side by side between Alex Brown and Samuel Lowdy. They have finally got themselves back into single file. Behind them is Aston Brown. This is a good battle there in the background between Toby Dukes and Riley Buckton-Young for 10th place. Not even at half race distance yet, and in this one Minto has made his way through from 8th place to take the lead. He started to move away. James Roberts as well sets a personal best, and he's moved away. Then James Tate now is in a fairly good battle. He has got a cart length or 2 back then to Jones and Lowdy, who argued over track on the previous lap. And this time it's Jones carrying a little bit too much into the second chicane. scrubs off some speed and backs himself into Aston Brown. Brown closing in on the back then of Alex Jones. Jones, who we know has got good top end speed down this back straight, where he got through on 2 on the previous lap. So certainly geared up for the far ends of the straights is Alex Jones. Open gearing here then in all of our classes. And certainly the 2-stroke police and the Honda Cadet. So that means that they're able to run however many teeth they want on the rear sprocket and however many teeth they want on the clutch, which attached to the engine as well. A quick look at the comments. Odrin's been on saying top tier racing there. I'm imagining, I'm not taking anything away from the minis, the micros at the moment. I think he was talking about the final few laps in minis, although we have had quite an intense opening few laps here in micro, so could well be for that, as Neeson tries to get down the inside of Caden Simpson and forces his way through. Side pod to side pod down the inside. Harry Neeson then up into 7th place on Caden Simpson. Logan Lauder in the background is now going to try and take advantage of Caden Simpson as well. Simpson holds on though to 8th place, and Neeson with that dive down the inside. Now we're going to see Lauder through down the inside into the hairpin on Caden Simpson. Simpson's going to try and run all the way around the outside. Lauder with the tighter line in. Might compromise on exit and might give Caden Simpson the run down the back straight towards the double apex right, although I'm not sure he's going to have enough to get alongside. Looks like Loudy and Jones have found a way past James Tate. They have done, and there's a confirmation on the screen. They go green, Tate goes red. Tate drops down into 5th place. So Loudy and Jones continuing to battle, but enough that they can find a way through as well between those 2 drivers. Jones arguably slightly quicker, but struggling to find a way through. And whilst they can be quicker on the overall lap, if you're not quicker in the places where you need to line up the overtakes, then your speed's only going to take you onto the rear bumper of the kart in front. Now, you know, Jones is good down this top end though, but does need to be a little bit closer through the back chicane and the flick, the right-hander, before they head down that short back straight. Needs to be a little bit closer there if he's to make the move. And James Tate hasn't dropped too far off the back either. Still going to be there enough to take advantage. In fact, since he's been overtaken, has really been on the pace of these 2 in front of him and is starting to move away from those behind. They have got a gap of 1.5 seconds back to Harry Neeson, who's dragging Aston Brown along as well. Then there's a gap to Logan Lauder, who's managed to find a way past Caden Simpson. 55 seconds remaining, so the leaders will definitely get round before the time elapses. So we are going to get another 2.5 laps here in our Micro Max class. Can Alex Jones be close enough on the way round this time to really do anything about Samuel Loudy? He needs to be good through the next complex of corners, the right, left, and then the right through here, to be close enough. I think he may well be this time. He's within a couple of kart lengths, but then he is going to close up, because we know that he's got good top end speed into this corner, but not enough that he can get alongside Samuel Loudy. Leaders are already over the line though. That's Daniel Minto and James Roberts. They've both got a gap of around 2 seconds, and then Roberts another 3 back to Samuel Loudy and Alex Jones. They have sort of started to move away ever so slightly now from James Tate. It's amazing what happens when you stop fighting over track and start going forwards, but as we get towards the business end of the race, expect the business to pick up again between these 2. I think they'll see the last lap board in a few moments time and just flick this one into another gear. Certainly I think Jones has got at least one more overtake attempt up his sleeve, but does need to be closer as they head down into that final corner. The leaders are already over the line then to begin the last lap here at Lydd for round 4 of the Junior and Cadet Kart Championship. Alex Jones all over the back now of Samuel Loudy. Did manage to close up into that chicane. They both set a personal best as Daniel Minto already round the hairpin at the far end of the track, and then into this long sweeping right-hander before a long sweeping left-hander. Then that flick onto the back straight for the final time for Daniel Minto. Through from 8th place. He's come round the double apex right then for the final time, and Daniel Minto makes it 2 from 2 in Micro Max. Arm off the wheel as well. Then we're going to get James Roberts in 2nd place. Loudy and Alex Jones over the line. Looks like Loudy's taking a huge amount of curb and got slightly sideways over the line. He holds on for 3rd from Jones, Tate, Neeson, Brown, Lauder and Simpson. In 8th place, Caden Simpson completes in 9th. Then we've got Toby Jukes and Riley Buckton Young racing to the line for 10th. Jukes holding on from Buckton Young. Jack Hutchinson there making his way down the back straight. He'll cross the line in 12th place.